you about emotions and oils, and you might have to put the pieces of the puzzles together to figure out how to take care of your cold. But I'm going to teach you how to do it with emotions. Okay? Here's the thing, folks. It doesn't matter whether it's cancer, heart disease, arthritis, diabetes, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, part-timers, whatever. Every what's called an ailment is connected to an emotion. What I want to teach you is how to balance your emotions with essential oils and prevent these issues from happening. How to empower yourself and overcome issues that you've had that are holding you back. I'm very excited. Some of you might know about the men's camp that I've put together for men only. And why am I choosing to do that? And I'll tell you why. I taught a man's camp years ago before Young Living, and there was a huge need for it. I wasn't able to keep it going because I was so busy with my clinic in those days, but I did it twice, and then I did some small engagements with a couple of other people that did retreats and that for men. But there was a need, and in Young Living there's a need, a huge need, and I'll tell you why. Is because we're 80% plus women, and you gals have dominated the scenes for the last 22 years. And why? Is because your husbands, most of them were working, you know, paying for you to play with oils, and then all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, your check become bigger than theirs. And it was just something that just happened out of love of what you were doing. But there's been a separation because some of our ladies have just gotten so excited they kind of forgot to bring their husbands along with them. And gals, us guys are really inferior when it comes down to the truth of things. We're an inferior race, and we know it even though we tell you that you're the inferior one. And you've been told that for thousands of years, and you've been locked in closets, and you've been burned at the stake, and you've been called witches, and you've been everything. But over the time, man still has never given up his inferior complex of being less than his counterpart. But what the men in Young Living want is they really want to be part of this whole family. The men don't want to feel like they're separated, and that it's a wife's thing and the man is left behind, because it's not. You know, so the men's camp, my objective is to help them deal with the issues, the insecurities, where it all comes down from, to find their place where they can fit in the Young Living family, fit in with their personal family, and add to rather than take away. Empower instead of decompress. And find their place in that position as a family together.
You're speaking to something that, like, you know, my wife has been doing essential oils for 2.5 years now, and it's changed our lives, and it's been an amazing thing. And you're speaking with passion about something that I've been doing photography for 18 plus years. It's been a beautiful thing, but I have asked myself that over and over and over. When I saw this, I jumped on it. I said, I'm going to spend a few days with Gary. He's going to talk to men about this. And I thought, yes. And I think that as couples, we all know that we thrive more completely with that synergy. Yeah. And I think that if we can do that, it will help the growth of the company. Not that company is all about growth, but education and truth. And so, thank you for doing this. So I'm very excited.
My goal is to empower and bring together.
Yeah.
You know, because things happen when we feel insecure. We do things that are not productive because of insecurity, and And insecurity causes us to want to have attention. And sometimes we get that attention by arguing with our spouse, or not wanting to understand, or saying, oh, this is ridiculous, I need you helping me here, I don't need you chasing that young living stuff. Or, whatever it is. It just happens, and it's happened a lot, and it's caused a lot of separation. I want to stop that. And it stops by understanding. This is not about, Young Living is not a female organization, it's not a male organization. It's a man and woman family organization. And it's about empowering us all to understand how to find ourselves inside and align with that to empower as a couple to do more and greater. And not just that alone, but to do more and greater as a couple, but to do more and greater as an example to the world. Young Living is the example to the world. And so we have to create and find that balance in our whole life, and how we can empower that to bring more of an example to the world and strengthen relationships. It's like I often say, you fell in love with her once. What happened? And couples come and go, and couples separate and go different ways, and I've been a victim of it too. And I understand that. I've been through it twice, and it's not fun. And I look back, I've never stopped looking back and just analyzing what took place. Could have I done something different? In my first marriage, that might have been different, but I reacted different because of my condition. I was sitting in a wheelchair, I was paralyzed, an invalid. My wife was upset, she just cried, and I just want my Gary back. And I say, he's right here. I just can't stand, I can't walk, I can't feed myself right now. But she couldn't deal with it. And I didn't know how to help her deal with it. And so I would feel her drawing away from me. And what's the human response when you feel somebody going away from you? You get angry. You fight to get them back. Well, your fighting drives them further and further away. And so, I look at my life and what I've been through, and could things have been different? Of course, it could have been different. Could have I done things different if I would have had some coaching or had some understanding? Yeah, it could have been different. And then you can always go and say, well, yeah, but if things had been different, you wouldn't have Mary and Jacob and Joseph. You don't miss what you don't have. You build on what you have at the moment. And marriage, romance, never is the same from that honeymoon to 5 years, even 12 months later. And all of you know that. But love is something that you nurture, you grow, you develop in time. And it becomes like fine wine. The more you nurture it, the better it gets. But we are not taught how to nurture it. We're not taught how to bring the best out of a relationship. What we look around us and we see all these examples of couples that just argue and fight. And so we think, oh, well, that's how you deal with a problem. Argue and fight. And so when we go into that mode, God just says goodbye and walks away. And now he's not in the equation either. But if you love somebody, you find that substance that was there in the beginning, and you rekindle it. And you rebuild it. And you grow it. And you grow it into something that is greater and more beautiful than ever was from the beginning. That's what can really do it. And it took me 3 marriages to learn that. And so I felt, okay, if I can take my learning curve and I can utilize some of that to help teach and help coach and save somebody else from going through what I went through, then it's all worth it. But the number one is finding inside your self-worth. That's where it all has to start at. And what's caused the insecurity in self? And getting in touch with that. So in our class, we're going to be doing a lot of things We're going to talk about a lot of things, but we're going to do a lot of practical things. That's going to bring out some of those hidden things that we may have forgotten that were there, but they're still digging us in the ribs every time we put the saddle on, and just working through it. I'm going to be taking the guys into adventures to see how much fear they can deal with. And one of the things I've done in the past that's so amazing, and I'm giving a little bit of information away here, but I've taken guys at night and taken them into the mountains and left them. And boy, you talk about it.
I don't know if you should be telling all the guys this right here, because actually it's a really great place to stop, because everybody is waiting on us.
Oh,
everybody,
okay.
for us to go off this mountain, and it is actually now raining.
But there's just
there
a
is
lot
a
of
dinner tonight, so
a lot of different ways and different things that we're
yeah, but I
going
was told
to walk
that there
through
is a
in this
dinner
process.
that-
And